The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today on FCS Direct, how to create custom templates and modify existing templates within the system. My name is Eugene Zakowski. I am the product manager for FCS Direct, and I'd like to walk you through how to be able to create templates to quote anything you as a contractor essentially want to be able to provide your customers. So if you're doing more than roofing, for example, if you're doing siding, shingles, gutters, or anything else that you want to offer your clients in terms of being able to quote through this tool, you can here by taking advantage of our custom templates and information within the system. In order to get to creating custom templates, the first thing we're going to have to do is from the home screen, we're going to select the menu option here and go to Settings. Within Settings, you're going to see we have our library set up where we have Systems. Systems are product lines that you want to be able to offer your clients. For example, asphalt shingles or low slope roofing would be a system. Metal roofs would be a type of system. And you would separate gutters from your low slope systems or your steep slope, and siding, patios, decks, anything you really want to be able to offer your client will be considered a system within the application. In order to get a system up and running, the first thing we need to do is create a material list for it. Now, if your distributor does not offer the product that you want to sell or offer your clients, for example, some distributors don't carry gutters or siding or soffit, we can get those materials into the product by creating our own material list. Here's an example that I've created of a material list. And of course, we can send you a copy, or our service team is more than happy to help you go through this. But a couple of components that we need for a material list is a custom material code, a category, subcategory, the name of the product, the price that you want to be able to sell this product for, or your cost, the unit of measure, how this product is sold. When I say product, I mean we can do anything. If you notice here, we have labor or an actual material. So if we want to be able to calculate how much labor our sub is going to charge us, and we have it set up to a point where we have a negotiated rate of, say, for example, to install the gutters at $35 a foot, a linear foot, we can do that as well. In this case, I have it set at, for every 10 feet of install, my sub is going to charge me $35. But again, this numbers can be anything, whatever you have negotiated with your contractor or your subcontractor if you're using a sub, to go ahead and set this up. In addition to coverage value is, for example, here we have seamless gutters are going to be sold or priced in 10-foot sections. We have the ability here to set up our local permits and fees. Pretty much anything that you want to be able to calculate within your template, we can accommodate for by simply creating a material list. Here I have it marked as part of my gutter system. So I'm going to put a 1 in here, so this way the application knows that all of this material belongs to my gutters. And actually, I'm going to correct this coverage value for my permits and fees. I'm going to set it to 1 here. I'm going to go ahead and save this. And actually, I'm going to save this as a CSV file. Now that my CSV file is saved, I can go ahead and import it into my system. I'm going to go into my Materials tab. The system will list all of my materials that are available. Everything grayed out here is material that is sold by our distributor, so we can't edit or adjust that. But again, we can import our own materials by selecting the Import Material button here. This page is going to give you the same overview I just did. It's just laid out a little bit differently. And again, at any point, if you need any assistance with this, please feel free to reach out to our service team. I'm going to select Upload CSV, find my file, and open it. If there was an error, it would pop up, but since no error popped up, I know my material is in here. So let's go ahead and look for it. I'm going to select my materials. I'm going to filter down, and we're going to go ahead and look for labor, for example. So these are the labors I just added into the system. And now all of these labors are going to be associated specifically with my gutter system here. So if I open up my gutter system, I can see that all of my materials in here. including my labor that I just added, plus the other items from a material list are now available every time I create a gutter system. So in order to create a template, we're going to go ahead and select the templates and assemblies. And I want to go ahead and add a new template by selecting the plus button here. I'm going to say this is the new gutter template. We're going to say seamless gutters. Add my template. You can see here, here's my template now available. I'm going to select it. I'm going to pick what kind of property this belongs to. I'm going to select residential. I'm going to assign what system it belongs to. This way, when we select this attribute for our property, we know to use this template as an option. So I'm going to go ahead and select gutters. And the first thing I want to do is I want to add my first formula. We're going to go ahead and we're going to pick our labor. And we want to go ahead and add our formula here. So we're going to select. And we're going to say it's the eave length. And we're simply going to divide it by our coverage value. Now we've got the first measurement here, so for our labor value. And we're also going to go ahead and add additional formulas to the system. Going to add gutters here. I want to go ahead and select my seamless. And the same type of calculation here. Let me explain this here. So what I'm telling the system is with my eave length, I want to capture my entire eave length formula. I want to divide by the coverage value of that piece of material to calculate my total material needed on this job here. And continue adding some more formulas. We're going to go ahead and say we want for our elbows. We're going to use those as an account. So we're going to count how many elbows we have in the system. So we don't need to apply a formula for this one here. But let's say we want to apply a formula that's going to say for every 10 feet of, every 10 linear feet of eave that we need to install gutter, we want to install a strap. So we're going to go ahead and write our formula out. Say it's eave length. Divide it by 10. And then we're going to divide that by the coverage of the strap itself. Now again, if you need any assistance writing these formulas out until you get familiar with it, or need help at all generating these formulas, please feel free to reach out to our service department as we're more than happy to help you create these formulas. Now that I've got a base template within the application for setting up gutters, I can actually apply specific material to it. So I'm going to go ahead and add my assembly. I'm going to call this seamless white. So now that I have this here, I'm going to go ahead and select my sublabor. Say this is my install price, seamless. I'm going to choose my white material. That way when I use this template, it's all going to be the white seamless gutter systems. I can also add my description for this system here. I happen to have one. I'm just going to copy it here. I'm going to paste it into the system. I can even upload a logo that I want to use on my proposal for this system. So I'm going to select upload my image, select my logo, and now it's going to be available every time I use this system. This logo is going to fill in, and this was also the description that my client's going to see when I create my proposal. And go back here. I'm actually going to add another assembly for the dark colored or black gutter. So I'm going to say seamless black. Say my sublabor, install, choose my black material. Now this way when I use this system, all of my pre-filled is going to be the dark material here. I can upload my image. This way it's in the system. I could even set individual markups for each system here. So if I want to mark up this material at 60% because I imported all of my material at cost, I can do it this way. And if I wanted to use for the white, let's say I wanted to use 75% for the markup, I can. But you know what I forgot to add? I forgot to add the fact that I need to charge for permits on these systems here. So I'm going to go back to the base assembly. I'm going to add my formula. I'm going to say it's in my gutters. And I want to add my labor here. Here we go, labor, permits. And we're going to say the select is 1. So I always want to make sure that I account for my permit fees when I'm using this template. So if I open up my other templates, I can see now that the permits have come across. And the factor that I want to use gets applied to all of my templates. So now when I open up the application here, let's go ahead and try and use this formula quickly. Go to my home, I'm going to find a property. Go to the Loomis residence here. Make sure they have gutters as an option. They do. Go to one of my proposals. Select the proposal. When I go to add a new estimate, in my gutters, I should have the ones I just created here. So if I select one, all my materials come in, my values have calculated, my pricing is here, markup, labor, anything that I need, it comes across in the system here, my local permits, fees, my sub-install labor, everything is here for me here. So we can do this, we can create templates for anything that you want to be able to quote, anything from obviously gutters, siding, soffit, windows, brick front, anything that we can apply and take measurements for to calculate material cost and labor, we can create custom templates in the system to help you achieve that. I'm going to go ahead also and I'm going to show you how to modify an existing template that our distributor has given us, one that already exists in the system here. So this template here, as you can see, we have the asterisk is used to systems and owned by Square Roofing. So any template here with this asterisk says this is your template. The ones with no asterisk are actually ones that are provided to you by your distributor. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to modify this one and select copy. And the system's going to apply a copy here to the roof template. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to rename it here to Square Residential Steep Slope Roofing. The system's correct. I can choose any one that I want, but we're going to keep this one as Steep Slope Roofing. But as if you notice, all of the formulas and all of the values have come over to the system. I can add additional formulas by selecting Add Formula. I don't need to see you do it. I just want you to get used to doing it. Say we want to add for some residential felt, pick our main item, and then we could simply apply our formula to it. Or we can remove a formula if we wanted to. I can also adjust the formulas that my distributor gave me because now I own this template and it's not going to affect his. So for example, if I wanted to change the coverage value or how many nails I want to use per square, I'm going to go ahead and go into the 320 and I want to use 400 nails per square. Everything's now here. I can use 400 per square. And I've changed the formulas to the way I do business here. I'm going to go ahead and add my own assembly. We're going to say this is Square, and we're going to call it our landmark assembly. I'm going to go ahead and start filtering through and start adding my materials. But I really don't like that ice and water, that landmark, that CertainTeed provides, for example. I'm going to go ahead and just use IKO just as an example for the material that I want to use. So you can adjust any type, any material or any templates to the way that you do business, and then it's available to you here. But it's a real nice shortcut to take advantage of what the distributor's already done. with the preset formulas here. And again, we can upload our own images. We can add our own descriptions that we want to use, set our own markup and labor rates. And we can also add our own documents here. So I'm going to just go ahead and select Add Documents. Find my brochures. I can go ahead and just add my own brochure right to the system. So once I have the brochure in the system here, I can actually use this anytime I want. So I still have the same option to add my own brochures or the manufacturer's brochures to the application, so I can use the documents that I want to use with my clients or take advantage of the ones that the distributor's already given us. So if I go back here to the Loomis residence, go to my proposals, I'm going to reopen the last one we worked on. If I want to add a new estimate here, if I go to my steep slope roofing, again, these are the ones that the distributor gave us. These are custom ones that we made. So here's my square landmark template. If I had chosen all my default items, everything would fill in for me like it would otherwise. As you can see here, it populates. Pricing still works. Everything is working like it's supposed to. And I could simply go through the system and start adding my other items. So this way we can account for things for custom labor. If your labor in the system is not set by square, we can add custom line items for labor, metal, whatever you need to do within the system to go ahead and finish out your proposals. So that's going to conclude our tutorial today on how to create custom templates and use them within the system. Just another note, anything that you pretty much want to be able to create and offer as a service for your client, we can help you build that template, or of course you can build them on your own. Any templates that you build within the system are available to only you and no other contractors. We can also help you import and get set any custom labor or material items that you need to get into the system. Please feel free to reach out to our support team at any time, or you can email us at support@fcscontrol.com, and somebody from our support staff will gladly call you back as soon as possible. Thank you so much for attending today, and look for the next email notification for the next webinar that will be coming up in about 2 weeks. Thank you.